Winning shot, family. Yo, what's going on? Another episode tonight. I'm happy to be here. It is February the 3rd. And so you know what that means. It's good old Black History Month. Happy Black History Month to all my black people out there that tap into the pod and listen. And if you're not black, tell us Happy Black History Month because we are black. And we do celebrate. And we do have a lot of history that is intact. Anyways, that's beside the point. Welcome to the Winning Shot Podcast, man. It's your boy John. I got Hundo. I got Collin with me. Fellas, how y'all feeling? We just got through the weekend. How was the weekend? Y'all getting excited for the week? Y'all getting excited for the month? Y'all have any plans? Talk to me. How y'all feeling?
Shoot, man, everybody in the sports world is getting ready for the Super Bowl, but I feel like this has been the craziest week of the year thus far. So definitely got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. Excited to roll into this basketball content. Feel like we've been football heavy before, the new year, but now we get a chance to into some interesting basketball talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with Collin. Super Bowl coming up. Had the Pro Bowl this past weekend. That jump was lame. But like you say, getting into the basketball talk, weekend was good. Outside of that, like you said, Black History Month too. So we're gonna be celebrating some black heroes out here. So yeah, man, excited, man. How about you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me tell you, good weekend with the fiance this past weekend. Did a little wedding expo. You know what I'm saying? Trying to find this and that. Let me tell y'all something about getting married. Woo! A lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of commitment. But it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. I encourage everyone out there, you know what I'm saying? If you want to get married, go ahead and do so. And planning in this month of Black History, what better way to do it? You know what I'm saying? So no, for real. Like y'all mentioned earlier, fellas, we got a lot of stuff to talk about with forget off season, in season, NBA, this trade deadline hitting crazy. So we're going to get into that. The NFL got a little bit of off season stuff we got to get into. But man, we got to lock right into it, fellas. So I'm excited. I think we might as well go ahead and get to the nitty gritty. Start off with the banger of the week, which came onto my phone. That had to be Saturday night. Yeah, it had to be Saturday night. It was like 12 o'clock when I saw the notification. I said, are my eyes deceiving me? And they weren't. I said, this must be fake. And it wasn't. Luka Doncic traded to the LA Lakers in a trade that took place in the midnight hours for AD. It was a 3-team trade, if I'm not mistaken. Word, and Hunter will give you more details, but I'm pretty sure it was LA. Was it the Jazz was in this trade too? And then Dallas. Hundo, give him the details, man. Talk to him.
All right, so we had a 3-team trade, like you said. The Lakers, they got Luka, they got Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris. The Mavericks, they got Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and Lakers 2029 first-round pick. The Jazz, they got Jalen Hood Schifino, 2025 Clippers second-round pick, and the 2025 Mavericks second-round pick.
Collin, man, what were your initial thoughts as you got this notification? Because you got it the next morning. We was up all night in the chat talking about it. You woke up talking about some, huh? So when you woke up and saw that on your phone and saw the chat, what did you say in your mind?
Man, I thought I was dreaming. I thought niggas got hacked. I was like scrolling up. I was like, man, why everybody talking so much? It was like, man, Sunday morning. I didn't even know like anything came out, and then I was like scrolling. I was like, oh yeah, this must be like NBA Centel or something. Like,
yeah,
niggas got. And then I'm seeing ESPN reported. I'm going on sports, and I'm like, huh? Because my thing is, he wasn't even on the trade block, so I was like, I didn't even know this was a thing. So to see it, bro, I feel like in terms of the immediate feeling, this probably has to be one of the biggest trades in my lifetime. Because like the other moves, they were either free agents or niggas try to force their way out. So, but this shot to work, man, for sure.
It really did, bro. It really did. Like you said, when I saw it, I definitely thought it was fake. Because if ESPN wasn't the first one to report it, and if ESPN don't hit my phone first, I'm like, all right, it's cap. And I was like, wait a minute, Luka. And I got a call. Somebody said, hey, you see Luka got traded? I said, huh? That's cap.
Yeah.
And what really took me out, bro, is when I was scrolling, and as it kind of unfolded throughout the night, it was like, oh yeah, the Mavericks approached the Lakers about trading Luka. I said, they did what? Like what? Like you said, are we dreaming? Like this is stuff you can't even find in 2K. 2K would have told you no on this, and this is what we get in the midnight hours. Hundo,
Hey,
man, what happened,
hey.
man? What you thinking?
Hey, on 2K, you would have had to turn on that forced trade.
I'm telling you, bro. Like a trade that doesn't include LeBron, but you get their best player, huh?
Bruh, a top 5 player in the league, bro.
And
Top
he's
5 player in the league.
25. He's 25.
Right, 25, exactly. Yeah, that jump was crazy when I saw it, bro. Everybody was tweeting at Shams like, "Yo, did you get hacked? Is this real?"
Facts.
Bro, it's real.
Facts.
It's real. But yeah, man, you get a generational talent, man.
Yeah,
you get a generational talent. Get shit, bro. Like nobody's safe for real, bro. Nobody's safe.
That's facts. That's facts. Look, when this junk came out, I said, "Oh, we miss Woj. Woj would never play us like this." I said, Shams, you about to lose your job already. Woj just retired, bro. Like this how you start now? This is what you start off with? Oh nah, it's not good for you. But this might have put Shams on the map for real, breaking this story. I said, oh my gosh. Everybody got had that breaking story, and this might have been his.
And like Collin said, bro, like this probably like the biggest trade we done seen in our lifetime, bro. Like
that's facts. That's facts. We ain't never seen a mega star. Forget superstar. Like you said, Hunter, this buddy's one of the top 5 players in the league at 25. I was like reading and trying to think of like equivalent season like the NFL or the WNBA or the MLB. Like I'm thinking like, what are equivalent trades of this happening? Because don't get me wrong, AD is a great player. He's a great player, but he's not LeBron. I mean, LeBron's clearly still the best player on that team. So it's like, I'm gonna give you the best player, my franchise player, the face of the franchise. I'm gonna offer him to you, and not even ask for your best in return.
I feel like it's like if the Cowboys traded like Micah Parsons for like Von Miller or something like that. I can't think of, because I mean you got to think about somebody who's kind of past their prime. Like I feel like AD's on the last stretch. Like he still can put up big numbers, but we know with the injuries, like he's kind of on the latter end, and you know Luka's really just entering his prime. So
yeah,
I was thinking about it this morning. I couldn't think of something that was like that same impact in the NFL, honestly.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what I was thinking when you said Micah for Vaughn. I was like, I don't know if I would compare those two per se, because Luka's a mega star, and AD was never considered that ever to my knowledge. And I know I'm not the basketball aficionado that y'all brothers are, but in my knowledge, Luka and AD were never, even in AD's heyday in his prime, he was never on a Luka level. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong on that.
You got to think too. He was on the Pelicans too, so
I mean, but we're not gonna act like Dallas was like a mega team before Luka got there.
I mean, but if you think about like from like a historical aspect, like the Mavericks have always been like a good top tier franchise.
Yeah,
compared to the Pelicans and whatever teams they were before they were the Pelicans. But yeah.
Okay. I mean, they were the Hornets before they were the Pelicans. But yeah, the trade to me just never made sense. I said Luka.
I personally don't think it was a bad trade. Like, in my opinion, for AD to go to Dallas, that's not a bad move. But they got to win a championship in the next 2-3 years. Whatever his contract situation is, they got to win a championship in the next 2-3 years. But I think he'll fit in well alongside Gafford and Lively. Him being able to play the 4, that's something that he literally just talked about like last week. He was like, he's better off playing at the 4. So he'll get to play the 4. You playing with Kyrie Irving, you playing with Klay Thompson. So they in a good spot. They just gotta get a championship in the next 2 to 3 years for it to really be sweet and for it to look good.
And I think that's my thing. Go ahead, Collin. My bad.
No, I was gonna say I agree with Hundo. Like now that everything has fizzled, like when you actually look at the trade, it wasn't a bad trade. because I feel like the NBA today is different, especially with that second apron. Because like a lot of teams are getting fearful of the salaries now, and if you look at, you're like, okay, yeah, Luka's going to be a perennial all-star. He's going to be a superstar. But if you don't think that he can win a championship with him alone, then it's time to blow it up. And I feel like a lot of teams are going to kind of follow that same Luka approach, where it's like when it's time for that supermax extension, once you sign him to that supermax extension, he's getting paid like 72 a year. It kind of hurts your flexibility to build the roster around him. And there's not a LeBron type guy who can just take Matthew Dellavedova and pieces to, the finals, then I think a lot of teams gonna get weary and make trades just like Dallas Mavericks. So I think it's just kind of the start of something big because how Adam Silver instituted that second apron.
Yeah, and I was going to ask y'all fellas that do y'all think this is going to lead to something bigger? And then two, I think my only thing was with the trade, like we talked about, Luka 25, right? And so I think it's easier for me, in my personal opinion, to build around a younger guy like Luka and put him with somebody like Bron, who's clearly still the best player in the league, you know what I'm saying, at 40, but give him the opportunity to grow and develop even, as much as you can as a freaking superstar already at 25, versus you got Kyrie, AD, and them boys pushing 30-something, and they prime is already over. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that them boys can't hoop, not to say that but when you talk about championships, Hundo, I don't know if I see Dallas winning the championship without Luka. I think he was the catalyst, even on last year's championship team that went to the championship. I don't know if they get to that same point without him there. That's my only thing.
But to counter that, I will say, and I know the playoffs and the regular season, two totally different things, but Luka hasn't played since Christmas. Them boys been actually looking pretty good. Them boys been playing pretty good. And now you get a forward that can anchor the defense, that can stretch the floor a little bit. If AD can stay healthy, that's another aspect of it too. Not just winning the championship, but AD got to stay on the floor. Yeah. So if he able to stay healthy, we saw what AD did last year in the playoffs. Yeah, he was going to work today matched up with Jokic.
Yeah.
And low key, bro, you got to think the Lakers could easily fall into the same trap as the Mavericks with trying to build around Luka, because obviously you're not going to win this year. You have no bigs and you have no defense. And when Bron leave, it's going to be the Luka show. And I think it's going to be a lot of what you saw in Dallas. And no smut on these younger teams, but once they get some more experience in the playoffs, like OKC, the Rockets, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Obviously you got a superstar, but the question is, can Pelinka build the pieces around him? And can you get people to come and play with Luka? Because the problem in Dallas was he was just hard to play with because he was so ball dominant. And so if you have a scorer that needs the ball, they don't want to come play with him. So I don't know. It's just we'll see in 5 years. Obviously, if Luka gets a championship, we'll say, GM from Dallas was dumb. But I think, if you actually look at him and honest, they could be really good and still not be able to get over the hump because of the same problems you had in Dallas.
Yeah, that's an interesting point too, Collin. What is the right fit around Luka? Maybe that's the question, because when he was in Dallas, they tried to get Porzingis. That didn't work out. Kyrie actually got to the finals, but eventually it still didn't work out. And in between that time, it was just Luka and everybody else, and that didn't really work. So, what type of players do you put around him to put him in a situation to get you a championship? So that's going to be interesting too.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts, man. Like I said, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it looks in a couple of years versus now. Because now, to me, it still looks crazy that you trade what I consider to be your franchise player away.
And one thing I'll add too, everybody was talking about Luka, his weight and his conditioning and stuff, but shoot, you about to team up with Bron. So if Bron can figure something out to get Buddy on the right path, bro, hey, it might be scary for teams for real, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
It might get scary for teams.
And I don't think LA done. That's another thing.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like Collin said, you got to add some bigs, but
you got to add some
trade deadline not till February 6th, so they still got a couple more days to make some shake to try to make a run this year if that's something they want to do.
Yeah, and I think that is something they're trying to do because they know Bron is 40, and yes, he's ball dominant. He's still pooping out of his mind right now. Just had a crazy triple double the other night, but we know this is the end. So it's okay. Can we get one more? And I think Bron wants one more. You know what I'm saying? I think that this piece, and it's once again, somebody offer you $1 million, you gonna take it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like they went out and asked for this. You know, it'd be different if like, you know, because another thing that I was like reading on about, it was like Bron had no idea about this, AD had no idea about this, Luka, nobody knew about this besides owners and GMs. Like they kept this jump really tight. And so it was kind of like, okay, if somebody offer you a crazy amount of money, and I'm saying money in comparison to like the player, right? But if somebody offer you that, you're gonna take it every time. Like, so I don't think that they would have never like not taken this trade, especially because it's something that they want. I think once again they're not done. They can go find somebody out there. If they were able to get this done, I feel like they can get something else done. May not be able to that magnitude, but you can find them a solid big to help them out. And I think, like you said, all I need is somebody like Collin mentioned. If I can get Dellavedova to a final, I can go find me a solid big man. And I got LeBron James and Luka Doncic on my team. Yeah, we can make something shake.
We've seen LeBron's track record with getting teams to the finals.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, but my thing is like I trust them boys. Like, let's say we playing a 3-game series. Like, yes, I trust them boys all day just because you got the sheer talent. But what I'm saying is, with that roster as is currently constructed, we know Luka doesn't play defense, and LeBron just doesn't have the same gas that he did 10 years ago. So if you run up against OKC or the Rockets, who 1 to 8 might not be the same talent-wise, but energy-wise, they're going to bring it. And I think they don't have the capacity to handle those teams. And you're going to be playing those same rosters for the next 10 years. So it's just like, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, like I said, I don't know what their draft situation like. I don't know what their cap situation like. But, I mean, those are obviously going to be their two biggest factors in the years to come as it relates to kind of continue to build around Luka. Because like we said, you know, this move, I think, was kind of more of a future-setting move for them. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to tell them to quiet down. I think this move was more of a future-setting move for the Lakers. They know that this is kind of the end of Bron. So it's kind of like allowing him this opportunity to get this opportunity now to mesh and then go push forward from here with you as a starter and as a star.
But low key though, and you know, this is gonna sound crazy, but you know, if OKC don't get it done this year, like I know Shai is like a MVP candidate, but if you got to pay him $73 million a year, I feel like they would probably be having some of the same conversations because that's completely blow up the roster. I don't think you're able to keep a Jalen Williams. You're not going to be able to keep maybe Chet if Chet's getting big money on the market.
Yeah,
I think a lot of teams are going to have these same kind of questions where it's like, yes, this guy is a perennial all-star, but if he can't take me over the top, I'm not paying him anything close to $100 million a year.
that's true.
I hear you, Collin, but I don't know about that one. Because yes, it's gonna be hard to build a team around him. I get what you're saying from that perspective, but if you OKC, you done lost a whole bunch of stars over the years.
For sure.
You don't want to do that again, bro. When is gonna be the next opportunity you're gonna get a top 5, top 6 type player on your team if you OKC? Dallas in a better position because Dallas is a bigger market. I feel like you OKC, you gotta keep your star player.
For sure. And I agree with you. Like, I'm not saying just get rid of him, but what I'm saying is I think, and I'm not just saying SGA in particular, but I'm just saying in terms of the league, a lot of owners and GMs are going to start having these conversations where it's like, I'm looking at my guy and like you take like a LaMelo where LaMelo's been injured and he's good, but if I have to pay him $70 million a year, I'm going to look at the trade block or make them silent clause just in case, because it's like, I'm going to be stuck with that contract for the next 5 years. And I don't know if he's a transcendent player that can win me a championship. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you. But LaMelo, Shai, Zion, them different conversations.
Yeah, for sure.
Them boys not in that same stratosphere. Them boys stay hurt. Like Zion needs to get traded. Like if I'm the Pelicans, I'm moving Zion immediately. Like, bro, you gotta go. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why
Zion, bro?
I mean,
he been hooping this season.
He don't play, bro.
I know he been playing back to backs, but when he does play, he been doing good.
Hey, I was just looking at the Pelicans, their stats the other day, right? Because DeJounte Murray went down. He out for the season.
Yeah,
them boys ain't been playing. The only person that been playing is CJ. Ingram ain't been playing. Zion ain't been playing. And like I said, DeJounte, he out for the season now.
Yeah.
Them boys
That's
ain't
true.
playing, bro. I'm not paying y'all all this money for y'all not to be playing, bro. Like somebody else can have your injured riddled season. I'm
That's
not
true.
paying you for all that money for you to not play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
That's true. That's true.
And that's what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
know.
I think that the Mavs really opened up Pandora's box with this. It's like a lot. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like in the past, a lot of teams would feel beholden where they had to pay their stars. Now it's
Yeah.
like I'm looking at my roster and I'm like, this guy, I don't feel like he can win me a finals by himself. I'm not paying him all that money. And I think that was the signal to a lot of owners today. It's like, man, Luka's leaving a lot of money on the table because not only is he not eligible for the Supermax anymore, but he's going to California where the tax is much different. So it's like there's a lot of money that he's left just because Dallas didn't believe in him anymore. And I feel like that's
Yeah.
going to be the echo for a lot of teams, honestly.
Do you think the final straw was that contract coming up? Because
Oh,
like
for sure.
my thing is like we knew he had conditioning problems since he came in the league for real, if we being honest. So like what
Yeah.
made you want to make this move now?
Well, I mean, I think obviously looking at the efficiency numbers last year on defense, they weren't great, but I feel like they looked at it and said 5 for 345. I'm pretty sure in the locker room, well, not in the locker room, but in that organization, there was probably a lot of tension where they probably felt that they could run it back this year. And with Luka being injured, they felt like he wasn't doing the proper things necessary in the offseason in order to be dedicated and get them back to a finals this year. And so I think they didn't want to play this game of, just scraping along to the finals. They wanted to actually be contenders because I don't necessarily would say they were contenders last year. They had some big breaks in the Western Conference last year, but when they looked at it this year, like, okay, Kyrie's hooping. They got some great young talent on the front court with Gafford, Lively. And I think even PJ Washington was hooping. But, Luka was the missing piece. And if you're seeing him on the bench, you're like, okay, I'm paying him all this money for what? So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is different, man. And like, obviously, as the league continues to grow, that number is only going to get bigger. I mean, you imagine the numbers Wemby's going to be making. Like, and if they don't win, obviously, Wemby is a generational talent. Yes. But I'm just saying, if there's a Wemby-esque player who is not producing as much, you're not paying him 80, 90 million. Be real.
Yeah. That's the truth. That's the truth, man. Like I said, we're gonna be able to see, man, when it comes time. But man, that was not the only trade for this week. There's another big trade we had this week, and it was not as big as this one, but it was still a big trade. We had De'Aaron Fox get traded to the San Antonio Spurs to team up with Mr. Victor Wembanyama. Woo 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 wee. And then they wound up trading another 3-team trade actually because it was Sacramento. Zach Levine played in Chicago, so it was Sacramento, Chicago, and then San Antonio. So Hunter, man, give us the details of that trade, brother.
Yeah. So the Spurs, they got De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin. The Kings, they got Zach Levine, City Sissoko, 3 first-round picks, 2025, Charlotte, 2027, San Antonio, 2031, Minnesota. They got 3 second-round picks, 2025, Chicago, 2028, Denver, 2028, their own pick back. And then the Bulls, they got Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and their own 2025 pick via San Antonio.
So obviously the biggest piece of this was that Victor Wembanyama now has De'Aaron Fox, and he already had CP3. However, CP3 is like as old as Braun. So that it now we have De'Aaron Fox teaming up with Wemby. Oh my goodness. What a tandem that is going to be. Hundo, man, I think we started with you last time. Collin, give me your thoughts, brother. What do you think about this trade? How do you think it's going to benefit Wemby? How do you think it's going to benefit De'Aaron Fox? And how do you think it's going to benefit the city of San Antonio?
Yeah, bro. I think De'Aaron was the missing piece, man. I really love the trade for San Antonio. The fact that they got to keep Castle in the trade, I thought he was going to have to be the piece that they had to give up. But you got some great young talent with Wemby along with De'Aaron Fox, who is a killer. So De'Aaron Fox can really play his game. He can score. I imagine that pick and roll is probably going to be the deadliest in the NBA. But also, too, I think, like, I don't want to dismiss keeping Chris Paul on the roster because I feel like De'Aaron Fox is a killer regardless, but now he has that veteran leadership to kind of help him to know how to manage the team, especially when you get deeper and deeper into the playoffs. So to keep that veteran presence along with Castle, man, I think San Antonio future is going to be bright. It's going to be interesting to see if Pop come back or if they're going to keep running with the young coach. But I definitely think they got some good pieces on the roster in order to be a contender in the next 3 years.
Yeah, I agree with you, Colin. Like you said, having that veteran in CP is definitely going to be big for De'Aaron Fox development and as a leader, as a point guard of that team. But I guess to counter kind of what you said, like they got a lot of young talent. Like I don't know about all that young talent that they got, bro. Especially at the guard position. Like you look at Vasil, Castle, Keldon Johnson, De'Aaron Fox, even CP3. Like it's just a lot there. So it's like, who are you ultimately going to build around and surround Wemby and Fox with? Like, who are going to be those glue guys that's going to stick around and not get shipped or not get released? Like, who are going to be those guys that kind of build around those two superstars?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure they still got Harrison Barnes, right, on the roster. I'm not sure, man.
Nah, he on the Kings. Nah, he on the Kings.
Ain't it?
He was on the Kings. I think. He might be on the Spurs. I might be tripping.
Yeah,
he on the Spurs.
Yeah, you're right, bro. And I think it just depends on what San Antonio is trying to do. You know, obviously Pop likes the young talent because he can mold them in terms of his system. But also, too, you know, even with those young pieces, they can be assets to bundle up for another trade if they're trying to do something big and put a big three together. Obviously, you got to work the finances together, but there's some pieces out there. But I just think in terms of development, like you want to keep as many assets on your roster as you can, because I think what was holding everybody up was Castle. I don't think San Antonio wanted to give up Castle, but I think the fact that they got to keep him, it just gives them flexibility to make another move just in case, and not have to miss Wemby or De'Aaron.
I think for the Kings getting Zach Lavine, we had heard his name in the past about a year and a half almost in trade talks and wanting to get out of Chicago. So for him to go to Sacramento playing with DeMar, playing with Sabonis, we gonna see what happened. They was trash, but we gonna see if they able to get some more wins. And hopefully he can help them out, man. Another scorer alongside Malik Monk too. That backcourt is dangerous offensively.
Yeah, I don't have faith in the niggas. I don't know what the Kings be doing. Honestly, I think they might trade Sabonis. I think it's going to be a fire sale, honestly. I don't think DeMar going to be there. Because I think DeMar came saying, I thought y'all going to contend. This does not look anything like a contender.
Yeah.
Who's going to run point? And don't you dare say
hey, nah. Right. Malik Monk, listen. Hey, since Christie been coaching, his assist numbers don't went up.
For sure, but he's not a natural one though. It's like when I'm talking about
he's a bucket getter though. What you want to do? Come down the court, pass it, and they gonna play hot potato? Nah, bro. Get the ball in the basket. That's the key.
Get it out the net.
But for them, the key is getting stops. So we gonna see what happens.
Yeah.
And the Bulls just suck. The Bulls suck. The Bulls are terrible.
F- under?
F-. Them
niggas still Jordan years. Man,
yeah, I can't believe it is bad, bro. Like it's really bad. I don't know. I don't even watch basketball like that. I know they suck. It's crazy. It just don't make no sense. Like it is really preposterous. Like I can't believe this. I don't know. The trade, man, it's gonna be very interesting to me because Wemby's clearly up next. Like he's him.
He's here.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And so for them to go get De'Aaron Fox to help him out, bro, and they still got CP3 for the rest of the season. And I think he'll be calling it a career quite soon as well. But for them to leave that now with De'Aaron and Wemby, and like you said, Collin, they still have the opportunity to either go trade for somebody else or prepare to draft somebody or sign a free agent in this upcoming offseason. I don't know who that would be, because I mean I don't know who's gonna be up, but KD on the trade block. Just throwing out names, but just because that Luka trade went through, like we talked about, it opens up the doors for a lot of people to, you know what I'm saying? It was funny. Quick side note. It was funny watching some of the players like talk about like, oh, let me pack my bags. Like CJ McCollum, I think somebody packed his bags.
He was like, make sure you got that go bag ready.
Hey, people in the comments talking about some, hey, you ain't gotta worry about that. You can unpack your bag, you're not going nowhere, bro. That joke had me so weak, bro. I was like, yeah, some of y'all got that, y'all not getting traded, right? It's okay. Y'all don't have to worry about that for real. Your family's safe. Keep your kids in school, bud. You're not going anywhere. But no, for real, man, it's gonna be really interesting to see if they can either pull off another move or sign somebody in this free agency period after the season's up, man. Because I think that, I think this San Antonio team knows that they have a superstar in Wemby, and they can't waste his time because he's just like, well, get me out of here.
And they've made some strides this year, but clearly they went out and got another superstar. But we, like you said, we're gonna see who they surround them with. But
yeah.
I don't even know if they really need truly like another superstar though. Like
that's true.
If they got good enough role players and good enough young players that can get stops and get buckets when needed, because like I feel like their problem the past 2 years is like the other players trying to like get Wemby the ball or like trying to get theirs and not give Wemby the ball. It's just like
exactly.
Bro, like let him cook and get out the way, bro.
Nah, facts. The last time I remember watching the game when Wemby was in it, his teammates were so selfish. I was like, bruh, this man is 7'6", some an astronomical height, and you're over here just trying to cook somebody and get a bucket, and you keep missing. Pass the ball, bro. Every time I can call Mountain House, there's nobody in the league that can guard me at this height, and that's gonna come out here on the 3-point line and try to shoot with me. Come on, bro. Stop being selfish. Let me cook for real. And so I'm glad that Pop really sat them boys down and said, listen here, y'all suck, and he's the face of the franchise. Get him the ball. Like, it's too many people thinking that they are what they're not. Somebody's mama, somebody's daddy, somebody's friend, somebody's trainer telling them you could do the same thing. And you can't. You can't. You have to know your role. And your role is passing the 7'6" superstar the ball. Every time you come down the court, don't look to do nothing else besides getting assists. You should be leading the league in assists because you should be passing the ball so much. Hey, all 82 games.
He got to touch the ball every possession, bro. Every possession. It
shouldn't be a possession. He's on the court and he doesn't touch that ball. Even when he on defense, touch that ball with me. Give me a block. What are you doing? Like, come on. I'm not playing these games with y'all. If I'm the coach, my game plan is simple. Come down, pass. Come down, pass. We got one play in the playbook. One. You'll call it number one. and it's coming down the court, passing number one the ball. That's what we gonna do. What the world? What other game plan do we need? The rest of y'all decoys. Run around. Everybody's running around in circles for y'all. Decoys. But now you don't have to be decoys. I got De'Aaron Fox. So now it gets scary. Like you said, it's a crazy pick and pop. All right, bet. You can come down and give you some work, throw up a crazy lob to Wemby. Oh my gosh. Boy, I tell you what. Ooh, I like Wemby's game, man. That young man can hoop. That young man can hoop. And he's 7'6". And we ain't never seen nothing like it before. My goodness. Yeah. It's dope to see him hoop for real. But that leads us into our next topic because we got some divas in the league as we kind of discussed. We got some guys that are just, aren't who they think that they are. And we've got to talk about one of them right now because as we talk about this trade deadline, there's been a name that's been surfacing and flying around really even before the trade deadline as somebody who needs to leave and has wanted to leave, has requested to leave. And that man is Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, man, if I'm not mistaken, like on his third or fourth team of he has requested a trade from. Miami Heat are the current team that is now seeking his release from, and or trade and or freedom papers, whatever you like to call it. That brother said, "Please,
brother, hold on, brother. It's Black History Month. You can't say freedom papers. It's Black History Month, brother. You can't say freedom papers."
Hey, hold on. That man is under contract, is he not? Is he under contract?
I guess.
Does he want to be free?
But by that analogy, he really going from one plantation to another one. He's like, Can I go to the one down the street?
I mean, yes, this is true, but he's trying to choose where he got to go. And
I want the plantation in Phoenix. I don't want to be in Miami. No.
Yeah. And so we come up and we bring up this Jimmy Butler conversation, man. And I know the note said, will he be traded? It does not seem that the Miami Heat want to trade him. And the trades that was in place or was talked about recently that I read about was with the Golden State Warriors. And Jimmy said, well, I don't want to sign an extension, so I'm not going there. So we seem to be in this stalemate of who is going to budge. Jimmy has thrown numerous tantrums this season, and because he's not gotten his way
throughout his career.
But I'm just talking specifically right now. Like I said, this is not the first team he's done this with. He's done this with multiple teams. So with this team in particular, it's kind of like, what does he want? What can make him happy? What do y'all think that he truly wants? Because it's not an extension. He doesn't. It's not about the money, clearly. Because if he wants about the money, he went to Golden State and went ahead and took the extension. You feel me? So that's clearly not it. Like, what is it that y'all think he wants?
I think he wants to win. And I feel like he feels disrespected in Miami. And we've seen throughout the years where players have felt disrespected in situations or didn't want to be somewhere, and they have the right, they have the power to get up out of there. But when we talk about power and we talk about Miami, like, Pat Riley not going for that, bro. He is not going for that. Like,
not at all.
he already had LeBron, he had D Wade, he had Shaq outside of his prime, but he has a track record with star players, and Jimmy has his track record with trying to get out of situations. So we're gonna see, man. I do ultimately think that Jimmy will be traded. I don't think he's gonna be on Miami the next coming days, but we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see.
Yeah, I agree with Hundo. I feel like, man, if you go actually look at the numbers, Jimmy has been very average throughout the season. I think we're infatuated with playoff Jimmy, obviously, because we know that he can play both sides of the court. But it's just like it only comes in spurts. And the money that he wants, and I think in terms of the years and the number, I think he thinks his leverage is higher than what it actually is. I don't think a lot of teams are willing to give him a max contract, nor want to trade a lot of assets for him. And I just feel like low-key the NFL comp is like, without the CTE, of course, but this could easily turn into Antonio Brown, where it's like, man, you're trying to make all this noise and try to be this diva, but you don't have that same leverage in the league that you think. And it can easily be he turns into a journeyman after this, because I think a lot of teams aren't willing to bet their entire house on him, nor willing to pay him. So I don't even know if Phoenix is going to where. I know that's where he wants to go. But I mean, Jimmy's a great piece, but I don't know if I'm just selling the farm for him anymore.
And I also think too, like, if you're somebody like a Phoenix, right, who brought in a Bradley Beal, and now Bradley Beal's coming off the bench, you got a Nurkic that is not in the rotation anymore, and he's getting into it with Budenholzer. So it's like, do you really want another headache in Jimmy Butler, seeing his antics right now? Like, that's another part of it too. It's like, yo, Jimmy, you doing all of this, you really hurting yourself, because these other teams are seeing that you act in this way when you don't get your way. So it's like, bro, nobody wants to deal with that. So yeah,
Right.
we don't see.
And it's just gonna piss me off, because it's like, man, like, if you know Jimmy's story, man, he come from humble beginnings. This is like, you're acting like this isn't a blessing, bro. Like, even the money that you're getting, like, obviously I know that he probably got slighted in the organization. Somebody probably said something, but it's like the fact that you're not even playing, man, like, you might be messing up for some other old heads that are trying to get the contract. I'm just saying, it's like, just go and play the game. Like, let your words speak on the court. And I think if you did that, now everybody's going to be for you. But it's like, the more he talks and the more he just acts out, it's not cute anymore, because he's not looking like playoff Jimmy when he's on the court. That's all I'm saying.
But see, I also think that, like, a part of him not looking like playoff Jimmy on the court is because he's trying to prove a point. It's like, yo, y'all don't want to pay me. Y'all don't want to do this. All right, cool. I'm going to just be a decoy out here. Like we talked about earlier, like, would the people on the Spurs be a decoy? It's like, okay, I'm going to just be a decoy. Y'all don't want to pay me. Y'all want to respect me. Y'all want to talk to me crazy. All right, cool. So when I do step on the court, this is what I'm gonna do. I mean, maybe that's a part of it too. But like I said, it's just hurting him in the long run. It ain't really hurting Miami because you missing out on your money and you playing bad, and it's giving you a bad look around the league. So we gonna see.
Yeah, I think at some point, bro, you got to grow up. I mean, Jimmy been in the league a minute. Jimmy, what, mid-30s, 35, 36 now? Gotta be at least.
Like 34.
So it's like, I mean, bro, like, you've had the time to, like, lead your team, and that was in Miami. You know what I'm saying? Miami was a team that he led. He led them to a finals. He didn't win. So, like, it's now like, bro, give it up. Like, you crying at 36 is not the same as you crying at 25. Like, it's two different things. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, like, what else do you want? Like, stop being a little kid, bro. For real.
I gotta think. I gotta say too. Like, he has to understand that he's like, at best, maybe a second option, but probably a third option on a lot of contending championship teams.
That's
like
what I'm saying.
you have to understand that and be willing to go to these situations and enter these situations knowing that. Not thinking you're gonna be the number one guy or thinking that your value is of a number one guy or even a number two guy. So we'll see.
And that's what I was saying earlier, bro. You gotta know your role. Like, you gotta know where you are and be honest with yourself, bro. Like, it's okay. It's okay to not be that guy and like not have. You're not LeBron, and that's okay. You're still Jimmy Butler, and that's good enough. More than good enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I think he thought he does. He probably was. He wants to go to Phoenix. Clearly, he does because he doesn't want to go play with Steph. Clearly, I don't know. Like, I don't. And like I said, the fact that we've just seen this from Jimmy before, like, really, like Collins, it pisses me off. It's like, bro, like, if this is your first time doing this, cool. He did the same thing in Minnesota, literally. So it's like you haven't learned your lesson yet, bud. Like, you're still throwing the same tantrums, and the results are still the same. You haven't won a championship yet. So it's like, what are you really trying to get after? Because I think the whole thing in Minnesota was like, oh, I want to be that guy. Well, you went to Miami and you were that guy, and you didn't finish the job. So now it's like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to prove? And like I said earlier, it's clearly not about the money because Golden State wanted to sign them to an extension. All they were. That's all. I think that's the only, if I'm not mistaken, the only thing in that report that said that they wanted to sign him to an extension, which is why they couldn't complete the trade because he didn't want an extension with them. And so it's like, where do you think that you're going to go at 36 and get? I don't know how much money you want, but also still be that guy. Like, what team do you think wants that? And like Collin said, you're kind of ruining your reputation right now, where even not even really necessarily ruining it, but adding to what people already think about you, because the stink of Minnesota really never got off of him. He just was hooping. So now that stink is back, and it's like, I don't want to have to deal with this, and I don't have to deal with this because I can go get Luka. So I can go get whoever, and I don't have to deal with that particular thing if I don't want to. I want somebody to come in, do their job, and go home. That's not Jimmy right now. Jimmy wants to be loud, and right now he's being loud and wrong. And I hate that for Jimmy because Jimmy's a good player, bro. Like, he could be hooping. He should be hooping. And you're letting your teammates down. Like, you're just really being selfish. You're really being selfish. And it's like, it's really hurting nobody but you. And he doesn't even care. So some people just really just be lost, bro.
Ego and pride, man.
Yeah.
Ego
let that
and
pride go. And let that pride go, brothers.
And that's why I made a comparison to AB. Because, I mean, AB was a killer, even when he went to Las Vegas. But it's like the foot thing. Then you call Mayock a cracker. And then it's like these tantrums, even on Hard Knocks. And it's like, even when he went to the Bucks, it's like everybody was excited because we know he could kill with Tom. But then you get into it with Tom, and then, you know, the infamous him with the Jets game, taking his clothes off and then running around the field. That's not even cute anymore. And that's where Jimmy's starting to enter. And I think Jimmy got to understand, these owners, they obviously are friends with each other. And once you piss Pat Riley off, I don't think you don't know the effect that it has on the rest of the league. You can easily get blackballed and be on the big three quickly. So I'm just saying, it's like he needs to count his blessings while he got it, man.
That's facts. And I think people are mistaken LeBron James' 40-year-old self for their 40-year-old self. And it's not the same, brothers. It's not the same. Like, it's a lot of y'all that's gonna be hitting that late 30s period and need to be go ahead and hey, go ahead and sign on papers for retirement.
Hey.
Some of y'all are not playing into your 40s like LeBron, bro. And it's just not gonna work.
You gotta know when to hang it up, man.
Exactly. And so it's like, while I have the opportunity to make this money, and while somebody's willing to offer me a contract, because at some point somebody gonna say, "Well, forget it, Jim. We don't even care. Like, we're not gonna offer you a contract. You're gonna finish playing out this season with us, even if we do trade for you, and you're done." So it's like, you really gotta, like, I don't know. Like I said, it's weird because it's like, do you want to win? Do you want money? Okay, clearly you don't want either. So it's like, okay, well, you just gonna come finish out and go home. Like, I don't know. I don't know, bro. Like you said, Hundo, this is gonna come a point in time, and that time is coming much sooner than you think. At 36 in the NBA, like, no, you're just not about to keep hooping forever. Once again, you're not Bron. So, yeah, it's gonna be in. Like you said, I do think he's gonna want to be traded, and I hope his next team, whoever that team may be, is able to see past this stuff and kind of just get it done, man. I don't know. It's been a lot of athletes this year. I think back to Deontay Johnson in Baltimore this year. He even before he got to Baltimore, he was in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin kicked him out. He went to Carolina. The Panthers didn't want him. Came to Baltimore. He played one game with us, and then he refused to go into a game. We kicked him out. And then he went to Houston. They kicked him out. And so it's like, at what point do you become the problem? Because at some point, you can't just blame everybody. Oh, it wasn't the right situation. Oh, it wasn't this. Oh, it wasn't that. Like, everybody else the problem besides you? Let's be real about it now. We got to look ourselves in the mirror. I'm going to challenge the audience tonight. Look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, am I the problem? And if the answer is yes, change it. This is Black History Month. Don't embarrass us, Jimmy. Stop embarrassing us, Jimmy. I'm talking to you. Mr. Butler. With the last name like Butler, you should be willing to serve and help others around you. That's not what you're doing right now. All right, I'm off my soapbox.
With the last name like Butler, you should be willing to serve. It's crazy.
Hey, clip that. That's the clip for the week. I promise you.
Yeah, I got you.
The clip for the week. Don't mind me. I'm just saying. Some people we gotta look at things in a real eye. You feel me? We got to, brothers. It's imperative that we as men, Black men in Black History Month, look at ourselves in the mirror and say, I might be part of the problem. I'm 36. I have no championships to show for it. I got one conference championship, and they don't give rings for those. This is good. This is good right here. Collin last week talked about this, or actually, I don't know if he talked about it, but it's in an article that he wrote. Y'all can check it out on the Patreon. It talked about this. Can we tell the story of the NBA without you? And let me tell you something right now. If you have no rings, it's very easy to tell the story of the NBA without your name being in it. Because one thing we're not going to do is talk about the drama of the NBA. And we may talk about the racism in the earlier days, but we get to the 21st century, nobody's going to be like, oh, yeah, Jimmy Butler, yeah, man, he had a lot of issues and troubles. We're not going to care about that part of the story. We're gonna care about LeBron James and his dominance from 18 to 40. And you were just a pawn in that story right now. That's what you are. You weren't even on the team to help him get a champion, to be a part of a championship that he created for you. You couldn't even do that. You weren't even an op. You weren't even an op that was like opposing him to stop him from getting a championship.
Right.
You weren't even there.
Arch nemesis.
Right. But and that's what I'm talking about. We gotta be real, man. This is what I'm talking about. We got to be real. We gotta be real. Because what do you want out of life? Like Collin said, humble beginnings. I don't even know what college that young man went to. Did he go to Marquette?
Marquette. Yeah.
I do know what college you went to. You know who else went to Marquette? D Wade. Humble beginnings. Now he turned out to be a freaking superstar. You didn't make it to that level yet, Jimmy. He got championships behind his name. You didn't make it there yet, Jimmy.
That's a fact.
Butler, serve. Anyways, what other trades, man, do y'all think teams need to make before this deadline?
Shoot, I can't really think of it like any specific trades, but I know there's definitely teams. I could see Memphis going to get like a Cam Johnson. He's a 3-and-D kind of guy. I don't know what you would give up for him. I know they still got GG, Marcus Smart, but I think they kind of will bolster their roster. I know a lot of teams were talking about trading for Kyle Kuzma because Kyle clearly doesn't want to be in prison in Washington anymore. But obviously, I think he could offer you something either on the bench for a contender, but also too, I think for a team that's trying to like make some moves to get prepared for next season and a rebuild. I think he can, definitely get you at least 18 a night, which is, nice for a decent four. I don't know what his contract's like. That's the only ones I can think of right now. I don't think we'll see any more big trades before the trade deadline. I think the Luka thing kind of opened up more bigger trades happening in the off season, but I think in the next couple of days, a lot of people are still going to stay conservative.
Man, speaking of Washington and Kyle Kuzma, F-.
F minus.
Washington is an F-. That's a dumpster fire right there.
That's not even an F-. That's just incomplete. Like,
Bruh, yeah. They ain't even getting no grade, bro. Like that's terrible, bro. They are terrible, literally. But as far as teams making moves, I'm surprised Chris Middleton hasn't been moved yet in Milwaukee. That's been something that was talked about at the beginning of the season. They currently sit 5th in the East. They've been playing a little bit better recently with Giannis and Dame, but I'm surprised Chris Middleton hasn't been moved yet. I definitely want to see them try to make a move to try to get over the hump, try to get in that top 3 of the East potentially. Detroit's been playing very good this year after being trashed the past couple years, building around Cade. So I think those are probably the only 2 teams that I would like to see make a move. And then you look at the West, Houston's been balling. They got a nice young team. I don't think they're going to make any moves though. Denver potentially could make a move, maybe. But yeah, I definitely want to see Detroit and Milwaukee try to do something in these next couple of days.
Yeah, y'all think Philly would try to do anything? I know Embiid. I mean, he's dominant, but he's another guy. I'm like, you clearly can't do it by yourself. And I know PG's out there, right, in Philly. So, and I know they got Tyrese out there as well. But I don't know if that nucleus is enough to kind of get it done. It hasn't seemed like it in the East. So, what do y'all think that they're a team that could potentially be on the move, try to get something done?
My only thing with the 76ers, though, is like we haven't seen the trio in full force. So, like, I feel like that's a trade that could happen, but I think it happens in the offseason, like I said. I don't think it happens in the deadline as quickly. Because I think, like, when I watched some boys the other day, like, they weren't terrible. I think Maxey is a great piece. They did Yabashele.
Yabusele,
yeah, like, but he was actually kind of nice. So I feel like if anybody got moved, it would be him. But I feel like the core roster, Morey is at least going to try to keep that and make some big moves and splashes in the offseason. To me,
yeah, I think like you said, like their main thing is health, and like having those 3 superstars on the court, a substantial amount is definitely going to be big, but it got to happen. So I think before they make any moves, you got to see what that team looks like. Like you said, Yabusele's been balling, but I don't see them moving him. He's been a good piece. Oubre's been a good piece. Justin Edwards has been coming in and giving them good minutes as well. The rookie. So I think you kind of just got to stick with your guns right now. Try to get healthy, but they're in an interesting spot because nobody expected them to be outside the playoffs, the 11th seed in the East, and not winning games. So we gonna see, man. I hope they can turn it around this year and actually get in the playoffs and make a run and stay healthy.
Yeah, I think they got a great roster. I mean, if you got McCain, Maxey, Embiid, Paul George playing at a decent level, like he was playing like the end of the Clippers, them boys will have a nice roster, especially if you being Yabashele off the bench. Like, I wouldn't just give up on it this early. So I'm agreeing with you, bro. I think they probably got another move that they can make if they go get like a Bruce Brown type of player. I think that will kind of bolster their bench. But as they got now, if they're healthy, they're at least contending, I think. So I wouldn't blow it up.
And I think the only thing with Philly is too, like, if they were to make a move, like, who are you giving up? Like,
yeah,
that would be the interesting piece for me. Like, who are you giving up in that situation? Because McCain is hurt. I think he's done for the season. I don't think he's coming back. But other than that, it's like, who are you trading? Like, do you want to give up the vets and Eric Gordon or somebody? Like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think they're trading Yabusele. So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. And going back to the whole Luka thing, man, one of the questions I had for you, bro, is like, is Luka ready for the LA market? Because we know he doesn't play defense. We know he complains to the refs. And I think that in LA, his problems and the issues, especially if the Lakers are losing, are only going to be exacerbated in that market. And I don't know if he's ready for that. What you think?
I could see a situation where, like you said, it is blown up. His problems, his pouting, his complaining to the refs, is blown up and put on a bigger scale, bigger stage. But I think from a superstar perspective, I think he's ready. I don't think it'll be too much for him. I actually think that they will be able to build a team around him, like we talked about. I don't know what that necessarily looks like, what type of players that is that you put around him. But I think with JJ Redick as the coach, and JJ Redick has spoken highly of Luka. He had the opportunity to play with him his last year when he was in Dallas, so he knows him. He has a relationship with him. So I think that's going to play a factor in it as well. And like you said, like that LA market, like LA knows that they need to win championships, so they're going to do whatever it takes to put a successful team around him. And I think that with that, I think they're going to have better success than what they've been having.
Yeah, that's true. Low key, bro. I know it's gonna sound crazy, but I feel like the perfect fit for him would have been AD. Honestly, I think in terms of being able to score down low and hit occasional three, along with his defensive presence, it would have masked a lot of Luka's problems. And I think we saw that last year with Lively and Gafford, but I don't think Lively or Gafford giving that same production that AD would give you offensively. So it's just crazy how they swap, but I think they could have been the perfect pair, honestly, in a perfect world.
Yeah, and like you said, having another defensive anchor on the back end too, like Lively with AD and potentially Luka, like that low key would have been crazy, bruh. That low key would have been crazy.
Facts.
Yeah. That's good, man. That's good, fellas. So let me ask you this. A quick transition, because I think the NBA, man, like I said, we got to cover this in this trade deadline. But I think this spirit of trade has entered into the NFL. And so I think it's a good little segue because as we learned today, two people one have requested a trade and one was told he was being traded. So as it got my mind thinking because came about all these superstars. So Myles Garrett of the Cleveland Browns has formally requested a trade. And if you've been listening to the podcast or know me, I'm going to say thank you, Lord, for a couple of different reasons. One, this man has been a menace in the division. I mean, he's just a dominant player on the defense side of the ball. He's shown time and time again that he's just a pest. I mean, not just to us in the division, but to the entire league. And so much so that he won Defensive Player of the Year this year. And we got two of them boys in our division, in TJ Watt and Myles Garrett. But Myles Garrett is now
and Hendrickson. He a dog. He ain't won Defensive Player of the Year, but he a dog.
For sure.
He get out.
He there, but he's not on TJ Watt and Myles Garrett level.
After this year,
he was leading the league in sacks.
He was getting after it.
Like I said, when it comes to defensive dominance, takeover.
Hey, he dominated this year.
I'm looking at Mr. Myles Garrett, who is the defensive player of the year. Like I said. Anyways, he has formally requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns, and as he should have, because the Browns F-, as we have talked about, dumpster fire, as y'all have said all night. So I'm glad that this young man has finally come to his senses and decided not to waste away his career in Cleveland. The second trade is, we'll go ahead and just mesh both of these together. Came as a little bit of not really a shock, because there was some shock waves and there were some rumors throughout the year that he could be on the trade block before last year's trade deadline. Mr. Cooper Kupp from the LA Rams was told, not requested, he was told that he is going to be traded and traded soon in the offseason by the LA Rams. And he was shocked as he said that he wanted to spend the rest of his career in LA, but now will no longer be doing so. So, when it comes to those two young men, talk to me about how y'all fellas feel about where they could potentially end up, who needs these kind of players, and do y'all think that they will be able to, I think the answer is clear from Myles Garrett, but do you think they're able to make an impact on their next teams? And both of them wanting to, as they said in their respective statements, win championships. Can contending teams, don't talk about sorry teams, because we're not hearing about the Colts trying to get these guys, Collin, I'm sorry, bud. Talking about contending teams that can potentially go get these young men and use their talents to help them push them over the hump potentially.
I mean, we talked about it earlier. I definitely think Washington is probably the premier destination for a lot of these dudes. I think after this past game with the Philadelphia Eagles, they do still need work on the defensive side, especially with run defense. I know that Myles his specialty is pass defense, obviously, but I think he can shore it up for a lot of people that they add on to that defensive line, because he's going to get a double team every time. And with Jaden being on his rookie contract, it just makes a lot more sense than a team that's contending that might have to give up a lot and kind of, clog up their cap space. Not saying that Myles Garrett's not worth it, but I think in terms of the contenders now, there might be another move that they are able to make on the offensive end that kind of gives them more flexibility than just clogging up with Myles Garrett. So I don't know. In terms of Cooper Kupp, honestly, I know this is going to be crazy, but I feel like the Chiefs can get their guy on the outside. And I think that, with the game that they're moving towards, they're no longer like a down the field type of offense. Like, we're not getting the Tyreek Hill anymore. But I feel like in that short yardage situation, him, Rashee Rice, and Xavier Worthy, it just gives you a lot more flexibility. So I feel like in terms of contenders, that would be the best option. And I think that with his lack of production these past 2 years, really, he's not going to be commanding much on the market. And I feel like a team like the Chiefs could, put a low first, maybe even 2 2s and get him. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Collin with the Cooper Kupp thing. I don't think his value is going to be that high. So I don't think whoever tries to get him or who does get him is going to have to give up too much of anything, because his production has been low. He has been injured. He's played 9 games and 12 games past 3 seasons. So I think he has to stay healthy in order for him to have an impact on anybody's team. You got to be healthy. He's definitely going to be the number 2 option now, as we've seen with Puka taking over the number 1 spot in Los Angeles. Like, he's clearly a number 2 now, which is not terrible. But if you're a team that's looking to go make a trade and go get him, you don't have to give up as much. But like I said, I think the Chiefs are a good spot for him. He can still run routes at a very high level, but he has to stay on the field. So I think that would be a good landing spot. And then as far as Washington with Myles Garrett, I think for Washington, it's going to be interesting to see. I know they had a lot of cap space, but do you make a splash on the defensive side, or do you make a splash on the offensive side? Do you go get a top tier receiver in free agency or in the trade market, or do you focus on defense and try to get a Myles Garrett or try to get a premier cornerback to shore up that defense? So it's going to be interesting to see. I definitely think, I don't know exactly where Myles Garrett is going to land, but he's definitely going to have an impact on wherever he goes. He's still playing at a high level and still get after the quarterback. And like Collin says, he's going to demand a double team.
Yeah.
I agree with y'all fellas, man. When I first thought about this today, I said, biasly, clearly, send both of them to Baltimore. This is simple. It's simple for me. I know that Cleveland's not going. They would never trade Myles Garrett in the division because he would just haunt them for the rest of their lives. But Cleveland's a dumpster fire. So I don't know. I don't know how desperate they're going to be because they're going to be able to get a plethora of picks, I think, for Myles Garrett. Now the report came out that they weren't really looking to shop Myles, all this and that. But I think that picks and money talk. Both of those things talk. And potential players can talk as well. So I think that he will wind up ultimately being traded, and I hope he does for his sake, man. Like I said, he's a dominant player, and I hate to see dominant players waste their time on sorry teams. Like, that junk sucks. Like, Barry Sanders played for Detroit Lions for a long time, and they sucked. You know what I'm saying? I have to bring modern now, so let's bring it somewhere modern. There's a lot of guys that play on terrible teams. Oh, my goodness. But I guess for just the sake of this conversation, we'll just keep Myles Garrett's name up there. He's been in Cleveland his whole career, and he's never been a winner. I think he went to the playoff like one time with Baker Mayfield, and they didn't win. I think they lost that for still wild card game. So he's never had an opportunity to even get close to sniffing a Super Bowl or even a sniff of the AFC Championship game. And I think he's come to the realization that Cleveland will never allow him that opportunity because the organization itself is just terrible. So outside of Baltimore, I think that I could see him in Washington as well. I could see him. I think they would trade him out of the conference. In all honesty, I don't think they want to see Myles Garrett anymore. So NFC teams, I think, of course, like I said, Washington. I think Detroit could put a crazy package together for him because
Myles and Aiden. That would be crazy.
Insane. Insane. I think he would crazy there. Minnesota. I think Minnesota, because they're thinking about contending teams. I think Minnesota could put something together for them. I think Green Bay could put something together for Myles Garrett. I think there's some teams in the NFC that could put some packages together for Cleveland, whether they include player or just picks that could probably make something shake and still have some money and the cap space in order to pay Myles. Cooper Kupp, once again, selfishly, I'm going to tell you to come to Baltimore. You can be a 3. Just come in and, you know what I'm saying, you ain't got to do too much, Coop. We're not asking you to go be dominant.
Collin.
Go ahead.
Collin.
Think about it.
Collin.
Think about it.
A 3?
A 3 is crazy.
Yeah.
Who's 2?
You said what?
Who's 2?
Bateman's 2. Bateman. Once again, at this point in his career, clearly he's not one. And
he's not.
No, he's not one for sure.
And even in LA last year, he was hurt so much he couldn't even be the 2 option. So it was looking. That's why they were trying to get rid of him. So
he still finished second in receiving yards.
For sure. He definitely did. But that don't just because you finished in receiving. Cortland Sutton, would you consider him up there as a top option for y'all team? Is it because of necessity or is it because of he's there?
He's the only option, bro.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I say that to say sometimes you got nobody else to throw the ball to.
Cortland Sutton is a number 1 receiver, bro.
I'm with you. What I'm saying is, if when Judy was there, and Judy's upset because why? He thought so is what? What did he show you this year?
No, he thought he was a number 1.
Hold on. What did he show you this year?
No. John, this man thought he was a number 1.
I want y'all to listen to these numbers because I know how he loves numbers when it goes in his favor. Go ahead and tell what Jerry Judy's numbers were this year and tell me where they compared.
Bro, that's your point. They didn't have nobody. They traded Amari Cooper.
Okay. So do the numbers show you that out of necessity,
I don't know what his numbers is. Let me pull it up.
He had over 1,000 yards. I know that much in Cleveland.
Oh, good
Well, while Hundo looks that up, bro, low key. Now I'm using the Browns logic. I don't think this is a great trade, but I could see them making a move with the Falcons to go get Kirk Cousins, trading him like Kirk in a first for Myles. I could see that, and then because the Falcons just rolling with Penix for sure.
Come again, Danny. Hold on. Before you go, Hundo, repeat what you just said.
Like I could see
What's the
Cleveland
trade?
making a trade with the Falcons, going to get Kirk in a first, paying part of the contract, and sending Myles to Atlanta because you're gonna rock out with Penix. Like I'm not saying it's a great trade. I wouldn't do it, but I say in terms of the Browns' mind, they need a quarterback, especially the answer because not getting.
Instead of going with the 2 pick.
I mean, who wants to go there? It's not going to be Shador. I don't think Deion's going to let Shador go to Cleveland.
Okay, so go take Cam Ward. But we're not about to trade Myles for Kirk Cousins.
Cam's going 1.
Well, then we're going to get Jalen Milroe. We're not trading Myles Garrett for Kirk Cousins. That's not the trade.
I don't know, bro. Like you say that now, but it's like Stefanski's on the hot seat. Like I've seen niggas do less for more. Like
if that's the hot seat trade, he's gone. Right after that trade is pushed through. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Get your bags, and you might as well go to Atlanta with Myles because your days in Cleveland are over.
I don't know.
Say that right now.
I'm telling you what I've seen with the Browns. I can definitely see that them because Kirk's gonna be looking to still play.
I don't think they're gonna run that risk of going to try to get Kirk Cousins, especially after this D Watt situation.
Indeed.
Like I feel like if you're gonna go get a quarterback, you need somebody that's like stamped and like not to say that Kirk is bad, but Kirk does have an injury history now.
But
so I don't know if you think that,
Who's that guy? You saying Sam Darnold? Like
no, I'm just saying like whoever you go get, whether it's in the draft or whether it's free agency, like you gotta believe that dude is your franchise quarterback. I don't think Kirk Cousins is the answer in that situation.
Yeah, for sure, but I don't think that's a lot of guys this year. Like, I mean, obviously in a perfect world, if you could go get Shador, then yes, you could say that. But I think everybody's on the hot seat, including the GM, because of how the trade or the free agency signing with Deshaun was botched. I feel like they're on a year-to-year contract now, and they're going to do whatever they can in order to at least be relevant. That's what I'm saying. Kirk's not going to take you over the top, but they're fighting for relevance at this point. Get you 6 or 7 wins.
Is that relevant?
Hey,
six or 7 wins is relevant
to them.
They're better off keeping Jameis, man.
Yeah, I keep Jameis if I'm doing trade him first and Myles Garrett for Kirk Cousins. I ain't going.
No. So what I'm saying is like, I'm not saying they're going to contend, but I'm saying like from what they had last season, they're not trying to win 3 games again next season. And I think Kirk can at least get you 6. And I don't know what Kirk is looking like coming back to, form after the Achilles. Like we see he's sucked in Atlanta, but like I'm just saying in terms of trade, I could realistically see from the Browns organization, that's definitely one because they're trying to get a quarterback.
I will say too, though, just speaking about like the trade situation, the trades in general, like the NFL, you don't see too many like player for player type trades. So that's gonna be interesting to see like what exactly they do get from Myles Garrett, because you're not getting no premier type player back in return, like the Luka and AD type thing. Like
for sure,
you're not getting a top 10, top 15 player back from Myles Garrett. Like
so not at all.
Whatever decision they make in that trade, better make sure it count.
That's what I'm saying. And if Myles wants to win, that's few and far between with teams that have the cap space and want to spend that kind of money on defense. Like it's not it's only a handful of teams I can think about that would attempt.
Yeah, and Atlanta is not one of them.
That's what I'm saying. From Myles' perspective, but I'm thinking from Cleveland's perspective, it makes more sense to go with a team that either sucks or a team that thinks they're good that will give them a haul versus a team that contend. Chiefs not gonna give them an arm a leg. Baltimore is not. The Bills aren't. Like you can go down a list of teams
the Bills might. To get Myles Garrett, bro, a premier edge rusher, the Bills might give us some draft picks, bro. I can see that. They
might give you Von Miller because they signed him to 6-120.
I could see that happening.
I don't like. I mean, because you got Ed Oliver that you got to sign. You got Von Miller. I don't know what Cook's contract is gonna be because I'm pretty sure he's up this year. You need to go get a receiver. You're paying Josh, Deion Dawkins. I mean, it gets scary quickly.
Yeah. I was gonna name Buffalo for a Kupp trade. I can see him going to Buffalo. I can see him going to Houston.
I don't know, man. I feel like they need a number one. They need a true number
Buffalo.
one. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like after last year, Josh has shown you that he doesn't necessarily need number one.
I mean, yeah, but like I don't.
That can catch.
Yeah, but I personally don't think that that's gonna get them over the hump and get them past moving in the next year. Like it was good for this year. It worked this year. I don't think.
I mean, I don't think it's over 2 years in a row either. But I mean, what number one could they pay? Like you just because you know what I'm saying? Like who's trading number one? Nobody. So you have to go pay somebody. And the only number one that's coming out in my mind is T. Higgins. They don't have the money to pay T. Higgins, but everybody else like they count his name. They got to pay. So it's like
one.
Who?
Stephon Diggs.
Is he still what?
A one? Because he's gonna be a free agent.
I don't see him going back to Buffalo.
Yeah, he's not going back to Buffalo.
No. I'm just asking in general, like, because I know you said the Texans. You can see the Texans getting Cooper, but I was like, why don't you re-sign Stephon?
They could, but I don't know. Stephon. He might go back to Houston.
See, I feel like Stephon also might be in that like Jimmy Butler type situation, where like he might think he's still number one and he's not really a number one no more, and it's just like I want number one money, and no, but we're not doing that, and now he's got a problem.
Yeah.
so do you want to deal with that, or do you just want to go take?
You're not lying. Like, yeah. Was that some of the reason that he left Buffalo? I mean, not Buffalo. Is that some of the reason that he left Minnesota the first time? Does he want to get paid?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Before he went to Buffalo?
I think that was a part of it.
yeah, Mr. Stephon Diggs.
Hey, he might be scratching that Jimmy Butler.
Now the difference is this. I think that I personally think Stephon can still be a big contributor to somebody for sure.
Yeah, I thought coming into this season, I thought he was still, top 5, top 10 type receiver.
For sure. Indeed.
Coming into the season. I definitely thought that.
Indeed. You know what else I could see Cooper Kupp getting traded to? LA. Stay
Chargers?
in LA. The
Chargers. Yeah.
Pack your bags and go right next door, buddy. Justin Herbert needs some help. McConkey needs some help. Because Quentin Johnson, James Cave. Quentin Johnson sucks. Clip that. Oh man, no, for real. I can see him in a Chargers uniform helping out that team. They need some help. Yeah. Once again, he wants to go to a contending team. We can't just he's not going to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Like he wants to still win. He wants to still be in the playoffs. Like he ain't trying to get a check.
Hey, the Broncos will take him. Cortland Sutton and Cooper Kupp that's an upgrade. Bro, we made the playoffs. Bro. We made the playoffs.
What you told me this year? What you just told me a minute ago? It's not going 2 years in a row. It's not going 2 years in a row.
Hey man, we got to make some moves, man. We're gonna see.
I'm tell you right now, Cooper Kupp's not trying to play with both ends.
He's
not trying to do that. I think he's trying to play with an experienced quarterback who can help him.
You already done had an experienced quarterback, and that ain't work.
Yeah, but it did work. He won a championship with Matthew Stafford. But
well, I guess. But I mean, in recent history, in the past couple years, it ain't work. But that was in part to Cooper Kupp too, because like I said, he ain't been healthy. So
yeah.
So let me ask y'all this: like in our lifetime, do y'all think that we'll see a Luka type trade happen in the NFL? I'm talking about impact and everything, where no forcing trades, just a shocker where two superstars are being traded in their prime, relatively. Overnight.
That's the thing though. Like I don't think it's gonna be a superstar for a superstar. Like it might be a superstar for like a whole bunch of draft picks, but like I don't think we're ever gonna see a superstar for a superstar type trade.
Not in the NFL. The NFL, I've realized this clearly that they value picks differently. They value players differently than the NBA does. The NBA can trade picks and players like it's nothing. The NBA will trade you 4 first-round picks. I'm like, 4? Do you don't understand the magnitude of 4 first-round picks in the NFL? Like, the NBA first-round picks don't really care. Like, the same thing, I think that must just be a basketball thing because the W does the same thing. like they don't care about first round picks. Like it's like, okay, if you're not in the first 3 picks, nobody cares about you. Even if you're like, and I guess in the NBA, I guess you're not in that first lottery 12 picks, nobody cares. So in the NFL though, like if you're in that top 32, you get an opportunity to be a difference maker on a team in the NFL. So it's like, I don't know. Like you said, I don't know if player for player, like we would never trade Lamar Jackson for just Herbert. That's not happening. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or Joe Burrow never getting traded for Patrick Mahomes. Like those two things, like those kind of trades just aren't happening in the NFL. I don't think so.
And I wonder too, like thinking about it, like what has been the biggest, I guess, NFL trade in our lifetime so far, bro? Like what has been the biggest trade in the NFL?
Recent memory? Huh.
Like is it Diggs maybe? Because Diggs got traded, right? To Buffalo when he was in Minnesota.
No, I don't think Aaron Rodgers got traded. They released him from Green Bay. No, he did get traded. I'm tripping. He did get traded, but he was
they were the same pay. Yeah,
he was like 40. Yeah, they had the same magnitude.
Like
now,
that.
in theory, they thought it did, but
did Randy get traded or did he choose the Patriots?
I
don't know. That's a good question. Let me look it up.
That's a good question. I don't know. That's a good question. Something to think about. I don't know what the biggest trade was or has been thus far.
Yeah, because like when Collin said it, like I'm not gonna lie, like the first name that came to my mind when he was talking about like trade for trade, like my mind immediately went to Pat Mahomes. Like he got that 10, 13-year contract, whatever it is. Like that's a long contract, bro. Yeah. So like if he's still not winning championships, then bro, like I could see them trading him. But like, are you trading him for another player? Like I don't know.
So Bleacher Report said they got number 1. Well, so I don't know if y'all including the draft day trades, but they obviously have like the Chiefs trading up for Patrick Mahomes in the 2017 draft. They said Detroit trading Matthew Stafford to the Rams for Jared Goff. Obviously the Seattle Seahawks trading Russell Wilson. AJ Brown getting traded to the Eagles.
Oh, that was a big trade, but there was no players involved in that. I don't think.
Yeah,
picks, right?
And Von Miller to the Rams.
That's players involved in that either. Yeah, like you said, player for player. I don't know about that one. I don't know about player for player.
Like I feel like the only way that it could work is if you, like I feel like it would have to be like a skill position, but like they would have to be like similar ages, because like the NFL don't be valuing older people, bruh. So like,
yeah,
it's not like if you think about it, like Luka and AD, like what's the age gap in that? What, at least 8 years?
Yeah,
at least.
Yeah. At least.
So like if you think about that in NFL terms, bro, 8 years, bro, like somebody's retired by then.
That's a whole career for real.
Yeah, like that ain't happening, bro. So yeah, I don't know.
And the thing is, you can roll the ball out. You can roll the ball out, and like Luka and LeBron can eventually figure it out. But if you send a quarterback to another team, like that's gonna take like a season to understand the language, like the cadence, all that. Like, and I don't think you can do that, but you won't have the same impact. Nobody's coming in and like dominating. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll see an NFL trade to that magnitude. If we do, that's what, like you said. I'm not saying it's not possible, because I mean, you could have told me that Luka would have been an LA Laker this season. So I'm not gonna say it's not possible, but it's gonna have to be some ground shaking stuff for it to come to fruition. So I don't know, man. Very good stuff. Very good stuff, man. Man, like I said, we are in Black History Month, fellas. So I know we kind of talked about this on the pod, but we're going to highlight some African Americans who have kind of pioneered the sport of basketball, football, baseball, whatever the sport has been, boxing. We can just include a plethora of sports in these episodes we have upcoming for y'all. Definitely just going to highlight some forefathers, some guys who are doing it right now, transcending the game. When I thought about it earlier, the first person that came to my mind was Magic Johnson. And the reason that Magic Johnson came to my mind was because not only was Magic dominant in his era, but once he got done playing, I think he continued to transcend the game outside of the game. He has become a mogul in regards of owning anything from movie theaters to restaurants to owning partial ownership of NFL teams now. Like, he is
MLB.
not only right, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the Dodgers, you know what I'm saying? He's taken what he did on the court and take that same mindset and take it outside of the court. And so I think for me, when I thought about someone who's kind of transcended the game and someone who's a pioneer, someone who I could talk about in this Black History Month spotlight of a African American in sports, man, Magic Johnson definitely for me took the cake in this first week. From out there from Michigan, hooped out there at Michigan State, drafted to the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Hooped, won championships, set precedents for a whole decade. You know what I'm saying? A whole rivalry with him and Larry Bird. You know what I'm saying? Back-to-back championships. You know what I'm saying? Like he did it all in his career. Then he got done playing, mentored people, took people under his wing, and then, like I said, business mogul, crazy business mind. You know what I'm saying? Went ahead and started companies, started, like Collin said, invested, started doing this and that, started getting ownership of different things, and has done it all while having a disease that has not plagued his life at all. And y'all laughing. Here y'all go. But he did it, man, in a time when he first got diagnosed. I think he has HIV. Y'all got to chill out. Chill out. You guys are childish. Chill out. He was diagnosed with HIV, and people thought that, that was the end for him. But he has. Oh my God, bro, chill out.
Dude,
Shit, bro. Y'all gotta chill out. I'm sorry, Magic. People really thought, because they were uneducated at this time, that they didn't know what was gonna happen. But he did you know what I'm saying? Like, he's been able, bro. Oh my God, bro! Come on, bro.
You didn't have to mention that, bro. You was doing so good, bro.
Come on, man.
So that nigga could have done it after that nigga won. Like, the nigga said,
you just had to add it, bro. You didn't have to add it, bro.
All right, we go. Hey, we gonna cut that part out.
Make a wish, kid. Yo,
hey, we gonna cut that part out. We're gonna start right here again. Magic, man, has done a lot on and off the court and has continued to change lives. He's continued to do things that and bro, what's all right? Hey, segment over. Hey, segment over. We're done. We're cutting that whole segment out. I can't with y'all, bro.
Oh my God,
y'all.
I know, but he said he did all that in spite of a disease. Oh my goodness.
They think he was gonna live.
They didn't know, bro. They were uneducated at the time, bro. Oh my gosh.
He did all that in spite of messing with that girl in Milwaukee. Oh man. That is taking me out, John.
Yeah. We're cutting this segment. Don't worry.
Yo.
We'll start fresh tomorrow, Hunter. We'll start fresh tomorrow with this segment. It's okay.
Shout out Magic Johnson, though, man. Why y'all at it, man? Go check out the latest newsletter, man. Subscribe to the newsletter.
Yeah, man. Tap in with us.
The new Cold War, man. Lakers and Celtics rivalry renewed. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
We appreciate y'all tapping into the Winning Shot podcast, man. These boys are some clowns. I hope that y'all enjoyed the episode this evening. When y'all get to this part of the episode, y'all think why they're laughing. These boys just need some prayer. That's all it is. They just need some prayer. So please keep them boys in your prayers as we continue on throughout this week. We'll be back to give y'all some more women's content in sports this week. And we will continue, man, to just continue to put this content on NFL, NBA, all of it. So we ask that y'all continue to support us, like, comment, subscribe, share the podcast, and we hope that y'all have enjoyed us tonight, man. And we look forward to see y'all next episode, man.
Niggas Peace. Don't know how to check. Oh my God. Yo.